Another reason why I left religion, fundamentalism, Christianity, and church is because divorce is always shameful in the church. Now, I'm going to relay some of my experiences being a child and teenager, as well as people I have met or heard their story. If this has nothing to do with your church experience, or perhaps you've had a different experience, that's great. But these videos are about my experiences. And feel free to leave comments below about what kind of experiences, positive or negative, that you experienced. In many Christian denominations, divorce is historically treated as shameful because it contradicts the belief that marriage is a lifelong, indissoluble covenant established by God. This stigma is now widely recognized as toxic because it can trap individuals in abusive and damaging relationships, causing severe psychological, social harm, and physical harm. Why divorce is used as shameful in many churches can have a vast and distinctive difference. Some people say it violates a divine ideal. Many interpretations of Scripture presents marriage as a sacred union of one flesh that should last until death. Divorce is therefore seen as a personal failure, therefore is not seen as a personal failure, but as a violation of God's perfect plan. The biblical passage Malachi 2:16 says God hates divorce, has often been interpreted literally, intensifying this perception. Another way is that divorce contradicts Christ's teachings. In the New Testament, Jesus addresses the issue of divorce, emphasizing the permanence of marriage and noting that a man who divorces his wife, except for habitual sexual immorality, and remarries someone else, commits adultery. This teaching is interpreted by many denominations of Christianity, notably the Catholic Church, as prohibiting remarriage without an annulment. Another way divorce is perceived as shameful is because it breaks a public covenant. Marriage vows are made before God and before a biblical congregation, making divorce a public failure in the eyes of the community. Individuals may feel they have failed their spouses, their family, the church, and God. What about internalized shame? The belief that divorce is sinful can lead to intense internal guilt and shame for the individuals involved. This may cause many people to struggle with feeling unworthy of God's blessings or love. So why is this shaming potentially toxic? It doesn't have to be, but it's pretty toxic in any of the churches I was in, Baptist, fundamentalist denominations. It can perpetuate abuse. The emphasis on preserving a marriage at all costs can trap victims in abusive or violent situations. When pastors or members prioritize the institution of marriage over the well-being of individuals or partners, a victim of abuse may be encouraged to submit more, love more, and take more, empowering the abuser to escalate the cycle of violence. It may also cause social isolation. Divorced individuals, especially those who are active members of church, often report feeling like outcasts or second-rate citizens. Former friends may pull away, and the person who has become divorced or is already divorced may be excluded from leadership positions such as elders and deacons, or social events leading to deep loneliness and rejection. Another way is that it damages mental health. Religious divorce shame is associated with an increased risk of depression, anxiety, low self-worth, and other mental health issues. The pressure to maintain a happy facade or an image outside of your home or in church can be especially harmful, causing individuals to hide their struggles and suffer in silence. Another way is that it may misinterpret Scripture. Some modern theologians argue that the traditional interpretations of Malachi 2:16 miss the larger concept. For example, some biblical scholars argue that God may hate divorce. These passages condemn men who betray their wives for reasons that are not important. Not that divorce, in the context of abuse or severe hardship, applies